Hello everyone and welcome to Microbiology. My name is Wes and I'll be your instructor for the semester. You'll be taking a 4 credit hour course including the lab, and as a 4 credit hour course we expect you to spend about 4 hours on course content that's direct instruction, so watching the PowerPoints, reading instructions for a lab, that sort of thing, followed by about 8 hours on homework each week. First, a little bit about what I do. So I am a graduate researcher at ASU. I study cyanobacteria, which are sort of like small algae, and they produce biofuels. And my job is to genetically engineer the cyanobacteria to enhance the levels of biofuels that they produce. And generally I work on the smaller test tube scale, but sometimes I do intermediate studies in order to have them stepped up to a large scale process where they could actually be used industrially.
I have a passion for science education, and I have a newly born baby girl from July and many cats, as well as many other animals.
For this course, you'll be required to check your Scottsdale email and your Canvas for lab data, reminders, and tentative changes to assignments that may occur throughout the semester. I typically try and send out weekly announcements, so watch out for those as well. If you're not familiar with how to check your student email, you can go to scottsdalecc.edu/students, and then on the right hand side you can simply click student email. I don't interact with outside emails, so be sure you're using your certified student email for communication. Preferably go through Canvas though. That's where we try and keep everything centrally located. Let's review the required materials. All of the required materials should be mostly free. The OpenStax Microbiology textbook is free on the OpenStax website. You can use Google Cloud products such as Google Docs and the free Microsoft 365 products available on Scottsdale's website for students. We'll be using Zoom in order to conduct our office hours. Respondus is a program that you will download. We'll have an instruction for that later on for taking the exam. SnapGene is a program you'll use for one of the labs. Don't install it just yet because it's a temporary trial and we don't want it to expire on you. And then you'll need a computer that allows you to access and use these tools. So a computer that allows you to download applications will be important. So work computer, you might run into those issues. The exams will be focusing on the previous unit, lecture, and labs. It is a combined exam where you'll have content from both the lecture and the lab in one. It will be made up of multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, essay, and problem solving questions. A little bit of math on some of the exams, but it shouldn't be too complicated as long as you follow the tutorials and example problems. I expect each student to use complete sentences and proper grammar when answering questions in this course. The exam will be available for a 3-day period, so it should run Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So just about any student should not have any problems taking the exam in that window. Formats for the exams may include writing definitions, writing or drawing or diagramming a certain microbial process. You can have makeup exams, but because we have a 3-day window, I am requiring a doctor's note, a court summons, some sort of legitimate excuse like that with documentation. Otherwise, it's the student's responsibility to avoid scheduling conflicts. So if you have a vacation or something coming up, it's going to be on you to make sure that you find a computer where you can take the exam. Okay, for the lab assignments, they're each worth 20 points. We'll have them on a weekly basis, except if that week lies on a holiday. You can review the lab schedule on Canvas to see when the precise due dates are. We'll have one library writing assignment that will be worth 80 points, and that'll be due towards the end of the semester. And I don't want you to start working on that until we've done the library lab so that you're prepared to write it. We'll have 4 combined lab and lecture exams. They're going to be worth 100 points each. And these exams are going to be closed notes, internet, friends, etc. So no outside sources are allowed.
Now, each lecture PowerPoint that you watch will have a set of checkpoint questions, and your job will be to watch the video and write or type each question out so that you can answer those questions to be submitted later on Canvas. When you go into Canvas, you'll find the corresponding checkpoint question assignment listed under the current unit. When you open it up, you'll just see them listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. They won't have the questions there. They'll just have the number signifying which checkpoint question it is. So make sure you watch the video to get the questions, and there's where you will submit the answers. You will also have weekly assessments. These assessments are worth 10 points each. These questions are meant to assess how well you are understanding the current material, and you're going to have to be able to maybe connect different units or different concepts together. So they're a little bit more in depth than what you'll see with the checkpoint questions. And these assessments, both the questions and where you submit the answers are just going to be online, but you're going to have to watch the lectures in order to understand what we're talking about. And I want to implore upon you to make sure that you're actually watching the lecture to get your answer to these assessments, because the internet is not a safe source for correct information. And sometimes they use different definitions that we might be using in this class or covering a different set of important features. So if I want you to be able to tell me the difference between two types of cells and you go on a tangent that's completely unrelated, I don't know how well you know that information. And it's not clear to me that you understand the major points that you should understand between those two cells. So make sure you're watching the lecture in order to answer the questions there. And we do have an attendance policy. While this course is asynchronous, you are expected to stay current with weekly lecture and lab content and complete all assignments on time. The exams, we're going to offer you a 3-day time window to be completed. So that should give you some time in case something comes up on one of the days. You can get started maybe earlier or later in order to make sure you take that exam. Now, the labs are crucial for you learning about microbiology. And so there's a requirement here that regardless what your grade is in the course, you can miss up to 2 labs maximum. If you miss a third lab, excused or not, you're going to receive a failing grade for the course. And the labs are going to be closed after the due date and only reopened with permission from me. Okay. And the labs can be submitted up to 1 week late after they're due, but you're going to receive a 10% deduction of the total points possible per day they are late. And while we're talking about attendance, the checkpoint questions are unique from the lab and the assessment. The checkpoint questions are, in a sense, a way of keeping attendance, seeing how well you're regularly following along in the coursework on a bit of a granular basis, on a weekly basis. Okay, so the checkpoint questions, they're going to be due every Monday. And that's my way of, if this was an in-person class, you'd take the checkpoint questions in class. This is my way of sort of taking attendance for you getting attendance points. So there, for checkpoint questions, there's no makeups. Whether you have an excuse or not for the assignments, you may get excused for submitting the lab and the assessment, but not the checkpoint questions. They're just going to have a hard deadline of every Monday.
And while we're talking about late submissions, the checkpoint questions are designed to be more of a attendance tracker. So consequently, there are no makeup mechanisms for a checkpoint question. If something comes up and you miss one, there'll be no possible way to make it up. Luckily, they're only worth about 5 points each, so it's not a major loss to your grade. But just keep that in mind. Try and get those checkpoint questions done And feel free to turn them in early. You don't have to wait till the last day of the week to get them done. You have all week to complete them. And most checkpoint questions are not that difficult. They're pretty well explained out. If you have any special circumstances, such as being a student athlete or you have a registered disability accommodation, please alert me immediately today if possible, as soon as you read this. So I have a few tips for being successful in this course. One of them is to attend office hours on a weekly basis. The next is to review the last lecture's PowerPoints and your notes before continuing to the following lecture, so that you're not just kind of forgetting everything in the previous PowerPoint. And oftentimes these things are sort of a successional learning where you apply your knowledge from your previous chapter or unit to the next one. Next, become an active learner. So ask a lot of questions. No question is a dumb question if you're learning in the process. So it's another way for you to help with your retaining of the information is thinking about problems. Go ahead and pause the lecture and try and answer questions given by me or create your own. And there's no failure in trying if you learn better in the end. Develop consistent daily studying habits. Don't just wait until the last day of the week to try and cram in all of the information. Okay? Avoid eating, playing on social media, or streaming services while studying. Try and dedicate your focus to just the material at hand. And if you're constantly reviewing your notes, on a daily basis, you'll retain that information a lot better. I recommend, since there's so much information in these videos and lectures, that you actually listen to the lectures and then go through the slides a couple of times. Then, whatever's not sticking in your mind or you don't understand, then take notes. Otherwise, you're just going to be writing everything down, and it's going to take a ton of time to write everything down. Lastly, I recommend for those very tedious things that you have to memorize, getting yourself some 3x5 note cards and writing them down on there. The reason why I suggest that is these 3x5 note cards are portable. You can take them, anywhere you go, in your back pocket or in your purse. And when you're bored, instead of reaching out for your phone, maybe pull out the note cards and just brief yourself on that study material. Get familiar with those terms.
Okay, let's go ahead and navigate the course in Canvas here. Right at the top in the Welcome folder, if you open this up, if you click on Your Instructor and Office Hours, you can see my office hours listed here. This semester specifically, we're going to have Sundays 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. available, as well as Thursdays and Fridays 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. All you need to do is take a look here. Let me know. I ask 24 hours in advance that you get a hold of me and let me know you want to meet at a certain time. Go ahead and include that in your very first email. I'll let you know if it's available and send you over a Zoom invite. And then during that time, just open up the Zoom invite and we'll be ready to go. Okay. Additionally, if you go down here to the lecture unit, you will see some of the activities that you'll need to do. I don't have quite yet posted up the Respondus Monitor practice quiz. That will also be due on October 27th. Click on the Introduce Yourself discussion board. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself. I'd like to hear why you're taking Bio 205, what your career plans are, and maybe an interesting factoid about you. Additionally, you'll find that the recordings are listed here. When you're ready to watch the recordings, you can go ahead and click on them. And you're going to get this error here. It's going to say refuse to connect. It's not going to work for you. What you need to do at the top here is just click on the hyperlink, and this will take you to YouTube's website where you can watch the video. All right. And then additionally, like I said, the checkpoint questions are going to be here. When you click on them, you're not going to see the question. And so hopefully you watch this introduction video and you know, hey, I got to watch the video to get the exact questions. And then I'll go in here to submit the assignments. And that's about it for the navigation. So we'll go ahead and head back to the PowerPoint. So let's wrap up this session with a week to-do list. First, I want each student to participate in the introduction discussion. Tell me a little bit about yourself, what your goals are for this class, and what your goals are for the future. Then I want you to complete Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3 lectures. Watch the video lectures, and then read through the PowerPoints. The PowerPoints will have the most current checkpoint questions, so write down the PowerPoint slides versions of those checkpoint questions and submit your answers through Canvas. They will be due the Monday of each week. Complete the weekly assignments. There'll be one weekly assignment this week, but we'll have 1 to 2 weekly assignments due each Monday. Then complete Lab 1 and 2. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me through Canvas or schedule a Zoom office meeting session with me so we can get together and discuss things. All right, thank you everyone and good luck. And here is the first week to-do list. So this class is going to go a lot quicker than a 16-week course. And so right off the bat this week, you're going to have the introduction discussion and the respond to their practice quiz to complete. They're both going to be due on the 27th, which is Thursday. This is absolutely crucial if you want to stay in this course because the college has a rule that I have to comply with, that if you're not measured for attendance by doing your assignments by the 27th, then I need to drop you. So make sure you get these assignments done this week as quick as possible. Okay. Um, Everything else is just going to land on a regular Monday schedule. So we'll have Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3 lectures and their corresponding checkpoints. As well as the weekly assessments in Lab 1 and Lab 2. They're all going to be due this Monday. And if you have any questions, again, please contact me through Canvas or request a Zoom session during one of the available office hours. All right. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to working with you and meeting all of you. I want to see all of you succeed, so please do not hesitate to reach out to me. In this format, there's no way for me to know if you're struggling in the course without you touching bases with me. So I'm a resource here. I come with, I'm part of the services for you signing up to take this course here at SEC. So I wish you all the best of luck and I hope to hear from you soon. Take care.